Hi, I'm Jill Johnson Young, and I wanted to talk to you about why it's so important for therapists and clinicians and allied health folks to know how to do grief well and to leave a grieving client feeling hopeful at the end of every single session. We aren't taught how to do grief in grad school. We might have a death and dying class if we're lucky. It's probably going to emphasize Kubler-Ross in 5 stages, which belongs in anticipatory grief, not in after a death grief, which is where we are right now. We're in the middle of COVID, and we have to be able to meet that new grief client who's just been through what is more than likely a really terrible experience, in part because they're imagining what happened if it was a COVID death in the hospital and they weren't there. We have to be able to meet them and make our online space welcoming and warm and safe and healing. We need to do that without thinking, I don't like online. I'm tired of telehealth. It doesn't do the same thing. The reality is, folks, grief therapy online is highly effective. No, we can't hug, but we can do a lot. And we can do it with great intensity because we are eyeball to eyeball like I am with you right now. We can make a change in that very first session if we know how to do it. There's the caveat, if we know how to do it. Many therapists don't know what never to say. They don't know that their silence is more important than their words, especially in grief work. They don't know the dying process. And therefore, they can't correct the assumptions of a client who's traumatized by things they saw and heard and smelled or see on TV because their loved one's in the hospital and they can't be there. You can't correct those assumptions and that misinformation and those misconceptions and that self-blame unless you know what dying is all about. The process, what it is, what it isn't, what the right words are. That's what a really great grief therapist does. Now, my perspective is solution-focused. I don't think grief should last forever. I think we might miss someone for the rest of our lives, but we should work through all the stuff that didn't get said, done, heard, experienced, all the wishes and dreams, all the future plans, all that needs to be worked out so that that griever can reorganize their life around that loss, make it part of their life, remember who that person really was, not the angelic person everybody who dies turns into, and take that memory and that person with them into their reorganized life that they're going to redesign with you. It's a powerful process. It's an amazing process. It's growth like you very rarely get to see in a therapy office. And it can happen just weeks after someone has died, if someone gets to you. Our clinical responsibility is to be able to do this and meet a client who's grieving. If we hold ourselves out as being able to do grief, to meet that client and make them want to come back, not to chase them out with the wrong words, with too much talking, with assumptions, with all the things that grievers will tell me. I heard that and I just knew they didn't get me and I left and I never went back. And I waited 5 years to come find you. Or when I go in a grief group and I say, tell me what you wish therapists knew. And because I'm a therapist, but I'm also a double widow, they will tell me. And what they say is, stop telling me what to do. Stop assuming. Stop telling me stages. I don't want to be angry. I'm going to be angry because I'm pissed at the therapist who thinks they know what's best for me. I want you to just listen to me. I need to be able to get my life back together. I can't wait a year to make decisions. Who thought that up? I miss sex. And I'm afraid to tell my therapist because they're going to look at me like I'm some weirdo. They tell me that they're tired of relatives pushing them around. They're tired of friends dropping them. And you know what? All of that's true. Those are all experiences that are very common to grievers. And those are things that as therapists, we don't know. They don't teach us that in therapy school, do we? We don't know that stuff coming out. This is your chance to learn how to do grief right so that you can meet your client where they are, truly where they are, and provide the care that they really need. My website, jilljohnsonyoung.com, is there for you. It's got resources for every kind of loss. It's got resources for every kind of dementia, too. And it's got links to all the trainings coming up and links to other people's grief resources. Because if you don't find my style your way and something you can work with, I'll get you to somebody who can. Because we're all in this together and we're colleagues. We're not competitors. And I'm here because I want to see every grieving client walk into the doors or come online with a therapist who's ready for them and can get them what they need. That's what it's all about. Being really good clinicians for the people who need us the most. Come and find me at jilljohnsonyoung.com. You can email me from there. You can find all the trainings. You can find my books. It's all there. It's easy to access. I wish you a great time today.